G'day guys, Disney Dave coming at you once again from Down Under. Today we are going to take a quick look at the new Bambi Walt Disney Signature Collection Blu-ray. This has been announced, well, officially announced a couple of days ago. We got word from the DMC about a month ago now, probably, that this was coming out and you could pre-order it, but we finally got official announcement and a detailing of special features and everything for the disc. Now, there's one question that I keep seeing popping up, whether it be on forums or whether it be from my awesome subscribers out there who are leaving comments on some of my videos. People are asking, and this is the same question that comes up every time Disney do one of these re-releases, whether it be a signature re-release of an old diamond or one of the diamond releases of an old platinum, whatever. This question always comes up, and the question is it worth upgrading or is it worth replacing my old set? And another question that also comes out is from new collectors saying, is it worth buying this new collection or should I go back and try and track down the old edition? So I'm going to try and address these questions. We're going to compare the original diamond of Bambi to the new signature of Bambi. I'm going to compare the special features, and at the end we're just sort of going to come to a conclusion. Is it worth upgrading or updating? Or for the new collectors again, is it worth picking up this new set or should you go back and buy the old set? I do have the original Bambi Diamond Edition on Blu-ray right here. This was released back in March of 2011. So it's been about 6 years since this was released on Blu-ray. It went in moratorium. It went into the vault the next year, so 2012. Some of the later titles took like maybe a couple of years to go back into the vault. But these earlier ones, you really could only get them for about 12 months. And then, if that sometimes, I mean Fantasia you could only get for a couple of months. But especially Bambi, that was available for 12 months and then went back into the vault. So you haven't actually been able to buy this in the US anyway for about 5 years. So there's always two mindsets here. There's the older collectors going, oh, do we need a new re-release of a Disney movie? Just focus on the ones that haven't been released yet. And then you've got the other people who are new collectors who are going, awesome, it's finally coming out. I finally get my chance to get the movie without paying scalper prices. I sort of sit in the middle. I'm one who wants to, I want the last 5 remaining Disney animated canon films, plus stuff like the Goofy movie and all that. I want them to get Blu-ray releases, but then I also do understand that there is a need to have these re-released for the newer collectors, because my collection that I've grown has grown over 9 years, and I know there's a lot of collectors who are just getting into it now or have just got into it over the last couple of years. So it's important for those people to be able to get their hands on these movies again, just as it was for me when I started collecting, you know? So I'm happy that they get the re-release. On the other hand, I'm disappointed that Disney aren't releasing the last 5 films, but then also the thing is that the last 5 films weren't part of the Diamond line, they weren't part of the Signature line, the Platinum line, etc. They're sort of their own beast. Disney released their main Vault line, and then they released like their Collector's Edition one. So every time I see a re-release on like a Signature or whatever, it's its own thing, because this main line has never dictated releases of like the Collector's Editions or the, you know, so I don't try to get too hung up in that. I am always excited when a new Disney release comes out, even if it's one I always own, because as the future has shown, I have always double dipped on the new releases. You know, that was the most recent one, and Snow White, of course. So that being said from the top, of course I'll be buying the Bambi Signature Collection, that goes without saying, because I'm one of those completists that just needs to have everything. One interesting thing to note with this Bambi release is that Amazon have it up for pre-order. Now, this is the first Disney movie that Amazon US has had full pre-order since the end of last year. So this sort of tells me that maybe Disney and Amazon have sorted out their little tiff. You know, and this pre-order's been up for 3 or 4 days now, so it tells me this was sort of a permanent thing. Maybe things have gone back to normal. I guess we'll find out very soon, over the next week or so, whether this listing stays active. Also, we're probably expecting announcements and detailings of Beauty and the Beast very soon, because I think that's out in June here in Australia and the UK, so I'd imagine it'll be around the same time in the US as per usual. So we would expect an announcement on that very soon. Also, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It's probably going to be like a September, October-ish release. We'll probably expect like an announcement on that within the next couple of months too. So it'll be interesting to see what Amazon do with those 2 titles, and again, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this Bambi listing, whether it stays up, whether it disappears. But I think this is a very positive sign that Amazon and Disney might have their stuff together, finally. Also, it's also interesting to note that this Bambi Bambi release is coming only 3 months after the Pinocchio release. Traditionally, you get 2 major titles a year, whether they be Diamond, Signature, Platinum, whatever. You get 2 a year. You get one around March, and then you get another one around September, October. So beginning of the year, end of the year. But what this looks like now is we've had one in March, now we're getting one in June, 3 months later. Are we going to get one again at the end of the year? Are we moving into like an era of 3 major releases a year? I've been saying ever since they started doing these signature ones that I have a feeling this is going to be the nail in the coffin for Disney physical releases. I have the feeling that these are going to be the last physical releases of Disney movies they ever do. They're really trying to pack them. They're giving you new special features, but really they are scraping the bottom of the barrel. They're not giving us too much new stuff that we haven't seen before. It's just like a rehash of everything, little fluff pieces, and then they're adding the digital copies. They're wanting you to buy these for the digital copy. That's what it is, and it just feels like to me this is the final nail in the coffin for physical releases of these older Disney movies, and maybe by putting out 3 a year instead of 2, it speeds up that process. Okay, so in 2 years you'll get 3 years worth of titles out, and that sort of feels like what they're doing. But again, we'll wait and see what happens. We'll see if there's another one announced for October. The rumour is it might be The Lion King. I don't know. I have a feeling that'll probably come out closer to the release of the live-action movie. I don't know. But again, Disney are just so unpredictable. Okay, so let's have a look at the listing of special features from the Signature Collection. First up, let's look at what is new. We don't know how long these features are. I'm guessing some of them will probably be like 3-4 minutes to maybe 12-15 minute sort of features. Like, the releases have been getting a bit more substantial. Snow White, there wasn't too much on there. Sleeping Beauty, there was even less. Pinocchio, there was actually quite a substantial amount of stuff, and even Beauty and the Beast. So maybe Bambi will be the same. So we get the Bambi effect. Bambi was full of innovations for its time. Let's take a look at how those past innovations affected future Disney animated titles all the way up to today. So that sounds pretty cool. Studio stories, Bambi, recordings of Walt Disney. Listen in on intimate moments where he discusses the challenges, pitfalls and triumphs during the production of Bambi. That sounds really good. I'm excited for that. But again, they've done that before, and like they were like 2 or 3 minute features, and they were really disappointing. We've got a couple of new deleted scenes that have never been released. We get this thing called Bambi Fawn Facts. I think you know everything there is to know about Bambi and his forest companions. Well, it's time to discover some fun real-life facts about the creatures that live in the forest he calls home. That just sounds like a fluff piece. It sounds boring. This is an exciting one, an Oswald the Lucky Rabbit short, another like fully remastered Oswald short, Africa Before Dark. That's a great addition. The last couple have had them. Snow White had one, but it was digital only for who knows why. That's really annoying. And here we do have a digital exclusive feature on this, which is celebrating Tyrus Wong. Half-out look at the man who played a key role in the success of Bambi. Much like Mary Blair and Ivan Doyle, Tyrus Wong had a unique signature style all to his own. The soft watercolour backgrounds and beautiful palettes in Bambi are inspired by Tyrus's concept art paint. Why is that a digital? Why is that on digital? Give it to me on physical. That is so... This guy, Tyrus Wong, didn't pass away that long ago, so this is like... it's come at a nice time. It's a nice little celebration of Tyrus and his artwork. Why relegate that to a digital-only thing? Which I can't even access when I'm importing these things to I can't access it. So that's really annoying. But that sounds great. That's probably what sounds like probably the best feature on there. But that's all the new stuff. There's quite a few features there. I'm guessing there might be maybe 30, maybe 40 minutes of stuff there. Who knows again? It could be like 10, 12, 15 minutes worth of stuff. It could be more. Now we take a look at the classic features on here. We get all the old deleted scenes. We get the A Prince is Born, which is the making of Bambi, which was on the Diamond. These are all the classic features which were on the Diamond release. The making of Bambi. Trick of the Trade, which is an excerpt of an old Walt Disney short. Inside the Disney Archives, the Old Mill animated short, A Silly Symphony, fantastic. It was, from memory, it was in standard definition on the original release. It doesn't say here whether it's going to be a new master, like an HD master, whether it'll be included as standard def. I'm not sure. We get the theatrical trailer and a featurette called The Golden Age. So that's all the old stuff you get. If we compare that back to the Diamond release special features, we've pretty much got everything that was on the original set, except for some of the more interactive features. So there is a like a interactive game sort of thing on here called Disney's Big Book of Knowledge. That's not included on the signature. You're also missing the interactive galleries, which is apparently a few hours worth of sketches, background paintings, production designs, all that kind of thing. I never really watched them myself, so it's not like a huge loss. The interactive game isn't a huge loss. I never played them. From some reports I've heard, some of these interactive things aren't even compatible with newer Blu-ray players anyway. It's sort of not worth having them there. So they're not huge losses. You're also missing Disney View, which is where instead of the black bars down the side of the screen, it fills it with artwork. I always hated that. That was really distracting and just horrible. So I'm glad that's gone. That's not a miss. The only thing that really is missing from this of any kind of anything that's sort of substantial is a thing called Bambi Inside Walt's Story Meetings. As I said, we get a brand new special feature on the signature called Studio Stories, which is recordings of Walt Disney during story meetings. I have a feeling that might be like a tiny excerpt from this old feature. This old feature inside Walt's story meetings is basically like a picture-in-picture. They sort of tried to do like a visual commentary sort of thing using old recordings of Walt and old story sketches and just all this old production material that sort of pops up on the screen at the same time as you're watching the movie. Absolutely fantastic. Very similar to the old Cine Explore features they did for Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, etc, etc. They did a lot of them. They were my absolute favorites. So that's a big loss. But again, if on this new signature edition, the story meetings feature is an excerpt from that, well, maybe it sort of gives you the best of the old feature. Like I said, that's the only real thing you're missing from the original Diamond Edition. If that's not something you really care about, well, your answer's probably made up for you. As far as video and audio transfers go, it's going to be exactly the same as the old release. They haven't gone back and remastered these at all. You know, they're the same transfers, same masters. So as far as the movie comes, you're not getting anything different. So this sounds like a little bit of a lackluster release. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth upgrading or updating it? If you're a completist like myself, it probably goes without saying that you're going to pick this one up. If you're not so much of a completist, the stuff on here isn't that substantial. The special feature on the innovations sounds interesting, but there's a lot of that in the original documentary on the old Diamond Edition, so I don't know how much new information that's going to give out. The only real thing, if you're looking at upgrading, don't look at it as upgrading, look at it as just having like a companion. I would never throw out an old release if you're buying a new one. I've got all the amazing stuff on this, and then I just buy this one just so I have the extra stuff to go with it as well, just as a companion piece. The only reason to pick this one up, really, if you're on the fence about, do I pick up a second copy, do I double dip on this? The only real incentive is maybe the Oswald short and the Celebrating Tyrus Wong feature, which again is just ridiculously relegated to a digital-only exclusive. If they don't interest you too much, stick with your old release. On the other hand, if you are looking at picking up a copy of Bambi and you don't know, do you get the new one, do you get the old one? It's much of a muchness, okay? With the new one, you're pretty much getting everything that you got on the old one, except for those interactive things. The only real major thing you're missing is that picture-in-picture thing. Again, I've heard maybe even the picture-in-picture things aren't compatible on new players. Look, if it was me, I would be going, I want that old feature. But again, on the other hand, do you go to eBay and do you pay twice as much to pick up the old set, or do you just buy the new set? Really, it's a decision you got to make. Everyone's different. I have different opinions than most people because I'm just always happy to double dip. I would recommend just buy the new one if you're on the fence because you're not missing out on much. You're missing out on what is probably my favourite special feature, but then again, I have a feeling that's probably going to be maybe chopped down into this new special feature on the story meetings. That's my 2 cents on that anyway. Again, when it does come out, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get my hands on it, and I will do a comparison between the two sets. Sometimes things change with these. Sometimes I add new stuff. Sometimes I get rid of stuff. Sometimes we'll do like a proper comparison when that comes out. If you're thinking about pre-ordering, go ahead, pre-order it. If you're thinking about upgrading, I wouldn't worry about it unless you are set on getting the Oswald short and that digital exclusives Tyrus Wong short. So other than that, just keep your old one, really. I hope I've made this really easy for you to make a decision. I hope I've given you all the information you need. I like the artwork on the new one better than the old one too. It looks gorgeous, and the old one always just felt just really lackluster to me and sort of clip arty. If you're a first time viewed on my channel, this is the first video of mine that you've seen and you've liked what you've seen, you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, please, after the jump, hit subscribe, give me some support. I'm heading towards 1,000 subscribers at the moment, so get me up. Come on, let's do it, let's do it. To all my regular viewers out there, thank you once again for joining me. Your support means the world as always. Of course, everyone, don't forget, I've got my Star Wars Rogue One competition going on right now. It's open worldwide. Check the link right up the top there, and you can be in the chance to win some amazing Star Wars Rogue One prizes, including a massive bundle of 9 Star Wars Rogue One pop vinyls. That's open for a couple of weeks, so go ahead and enter that while you still can. To absolutely everybody out there, I hope I'll see you again soon. Until next time though, guys, take care, and I hope you have a magical day.